Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. I'm Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official Marvel Snap Zone podcast. And over on the Marvel Snap Zone YouTube, our episode for this week featuring Den has gone up. In that video, no sleeper decks, no decks ahead of the meta. We are going over the 10 best decks in the game right now. Proven decks, the meta game right now, the very best decks. We even have a few honorable mentions for you. So make sure you check that out. It is, if I do say so myself, an absolutely phenomenal episode. Today, it's Den Day, so we're going to talk about two freaking brilliant decks that Den made. One of these is like the Kitty killer. It beats Kitty. It's got a really, really strong matchup, surprisingly, against Lockjaw. It's an absolutely stellar deck. We'll talk about that. And the other deck beats Kitty and is really, really strong against the rest of the meta. It is so cool. The first deck is Doomwave. Doomwave, you're sitting there going, Doomwave doesn't beat Kitty. What are you talking about? Well, this version does. In addition to Doomwave, we've got the Modern Surfer. And again, you're going, Surfer doesn't beat Kitty, like, at all. What are you talking about? Well, wait for it, because this version does. We're going to show you how to do it. Before we go any further, though, yes, I'm still doing it every day this week. Week's not over, and we are going to do a weekend video this week, just so you're aware. We have a Season Pass giveaway. We are doing a Phoenix Season Pass giveaway, the biggest giveaway in Marvel Snap history, at least to the best of my knowledge, and no one has contradicted that idea so far, so I'm going to keep saying it until someone proves me wrong. I'm pretty sure this is the biggest giveaway. First, we're giving away 5 Season Pass for the Phoenix Force and a grand prize of the Phoenix Force Season Pass, plus every single Token Tuesday for the season. With Token Tuesdays going up, I'm not sure how often I'm going to be able to keep that part of it, but I'm going to keep it going for as long as I can afford it, guys. Trying to give back to the community. One time only, though, we're doing another Season Pass for every 100 YouTube subs. That's you guys watching right now, starting at 900 and going up to 2,000. More chances to win, more passes given away into the community. So make sure you sub to enter. We are currently at 7 passes we're giving away, and we're halfway toward the 8th. So keep it going. I'm assuming we're going to end up with 8 or 9. Don't know if I planned this out properly for my pocket, but I'm happy to give back to the community, and hopefully you guys find value in both the content and winning stuff. All right, how do you enter? Real fast, because you can read. First, you have to sub to this YouTube channel. Then there's an announcement tweet. It is right in the description to this video. Follow on Twitter, like, and retweet the announcement for the giveaway. Finally, reply in the Twitter comment answering which Marvel Snap content creator you'd like to see be a guest on the Snap Judgments podcast. We've already got, like, the cooler half of the community. That's not true. There's some actual great content creators we're still looking to get on. But who do you want to see on? Let us know, and I promise you I will at least put in the effort to get them on an episode so you can hear them interact with us and talk about all things Marvel Snap. Enough of this. Let's talk decks today. Deck 1 is Den's Good Card Conquest. This deck is inspired by Freddy Babe's Snap Clash? No. Snap Clash tournament this weekend. I'm casting it. That's why that's in my head. Creator Clash deck this weekend. Basically, Den took that deck and said, how does that deck beat everything in the meta? Well, this is how. First and foremost, let's talk about the Bounce matchup. The Bounce matchup is like the big matchup for this deck, right? It's why it's the meta deck. Spoiler for the cast when we talk about the 10 best decks. Bounce is number 1 with a bullet. I'm not sure it's actually like clearly better than a couple things, but it's got a high enough win rate against everything that it's got to be number 1. This deck should be Bounce. First and foremost, Spider-Ham on one of 3 Bounce cards makes it a really tough matchup. Spider-Man hitting their Shang-Chi is nice, not the goal. Spider-Man hitting their Iron Man is snap immediately, fundamentally. And I'll explain why as we go further, because you're like, what? Who cares? They can just go bigger with Kitty. Also hitting their Beast or Bishop are really good. You actually kind of want them to have Beast, so you'd much rather hit Bishop. And the reason for that is that on turn 4, not 5, turn 4, you're waving with this deck. At that point, and you have America Chavez to increase the consistency of doing this. At that point on turn 5, you're playing Odin into that wave. That means on turn 5 and 6, they are limited to 1 card. You know what happens when they're limited to 1 card there? And you can go wide? with Doom, and you can pull, and you're dropping first 3 as they're bouncing everything to hand, and then 8 and then 13 power, you're winning that game. You're stopping them in their tracks. Just be careful where you play that wave at Odin. Iron Man is the only thing that really gives you trouble in that case, because like Iron Man into America is still annoying, which is why that Spider Ham is there. Also, the Korg does a really good job of making that a little less likely. Getting out Jeff and being able to move Jeff around in these matchups is also really nice, because you can tell often where you're going to need that extra power. That's the core of the deck. Give them 1 card. That play line is also really, really solid against the classic Janejaw, right? They want to be dumping a bunch of 0-1 cost things into their Lockjaw. If they don't get a good first pull on Lockjaw with this, you should be able to take them out. In addition, you're going to basically win a lane, right? By going, you're not going to play it in the Lockjaw lane, right? You're going to win a lane with that Wave and Odin, very likely, or at least be close enough. Hopefully you've played something else there. That Spider Ham turns off their Hulk, and you should be ahead in that lane. At that point, in their other lane, you know what's in their hand, likely from Spider Ham. They're probably going to try and play something big and go over the top of you, right? They're not trying to go wide at that point. That's where Shang-Chi comes in. You drop a Shang-Chi into that third empty lane and just kill their big thing and beat that Janejaw matchup. This doesn't really have bad matchups. It's a really, really strong deck. It just needs to make sure it's consistent. That's why America's here. What else is in the deck? Well, the other thing in the deck is the best package in the game, right? Korg, Zabu, Darkhawk, Rock Slide. We know what it does. Yes? Finally, why Iron Lad? Well, Iron Lad is freaking phenomenal in this deck. It has fundamentally, outside of, I guess, Odin, no real bad hits. If it hits Spider Ham, you get the knowledge and the timing. Ideally, you're waving that turn, but against every other matchup, you're fine playing Lad. Korg is a rock. Darkhawk, if it hits Darkhawk, it's huge. If it hits Zabu, you got a double 4, turn 6. If it hits Wave, you've just set up your Wave combo for turn 4 and 5. Nice and easy. Jeff as a movable 4/6 that can't be stopped is great. Shang-Chi isn't great, I suppose. So again, if you're going to drop it, try and drop it in a place where you think they might have something big coming down if you don't have priority. Rock Slide is really great for your Darkhawk. Doom is obviously putting 14 power across the game. And if you're playing it in a lane, try and play Iron Lad in the lane that you already have, I don't know, a Korg or something along those lines. If you're playing it on turn 5, the lane that you already have your Rock Slide or Shongan. Right? At that point, if you do trigger Odin, at least you get that extra added benefit. This deck is chef's kiss. This is what you want to be playing. If you're sick of Bounce and want to beat it, this is what you want to be playing in the metagame. Den is phenomenal. Working on a site that has both Den and safety building decks is completely insane. Working on a site that has Carolas and Lauren doing math and breaking things down is insane. I'm an extremely lucky creator to get to share the best information in the game with you. Speaking of sharing that information, this is the Den vs. Silver Surfer deck. I already won 2 infinite tickets with this deck. He won a infinity run with this deck. I'm going to talk about what it does, why, but also every day on Marvel Snap Zone, I'm writing a deck of the day. It's usually one of the decks from this video, and it's a much more detailed breakdown. It goes over the whole history of the deck, how the deck formed, where it came from, why all the cards are here, and then it's a turn-by-turn breakdown on how to play it. This is going to be the deck for today. So make sure you check that out in addition to the podcast editions. I know I release a ton of content. I appreciate the support. If you keep up, great. If you're addicted to Marvel Snap like I am, please keep up. If you're a more casual person, hey man, thanks for watching. Hey lady, thanks for watching. Hey non-binary pal, thanks for watching. I appreciate all of y'all so much for the support. This is the Den vs. Surfer. This deck is cool. And this is like 99% the Surfer build I was running. There is one card different, but that card makes all the difference. That card is Invisible Woman. What Invisible Woman reads is, please put Killmonger behind me, or Shadow King as the case may be, but usually Killmonger. If you can figure out what lane, like they've dropped Angela, right? If you're dropping Invisible Woman later in the game, against Bounce, I like to hold Invisible Woman to turn 5 and play her with a different 3. But on turn 5, you drop Invisible Woman with Killmonger behind her. And then you drop Shadow King and Surfer behind that. And then you just say, ha ha ha, I've won this lane. And I've won another lane because Brood or Maximus just get big enough to beat basically anything but their bishop lane because you've killed the majority of their stuff. Another great play, if you are going to Sera, you can just Invisible Woman and casually drop a Killmonger back there. It's fine. Storm Surfer do an absolutely ridiculously phenomenal job of winning these matchups. Storm Surfer is Storm Juggernaut, excuse me. Storm Juggernaut, as long as you don't play it into the bishop lane, just wins. Don't be afraid. It's completely viable to Storm on turn 4 and then Juggernaut and Invisible Woman on turn 5. At that point, you'll know where that bishop is and you can wreck their day. Like I beat a bunch of bounce decks with this already, and I kept getting like a beast alone in the lane with my Storm and Juggernaut. I was like, well, that lane is taken care of. Then you're just going, how do I win another? And your answers are Shadow King, Killmonger. Killmonger wiping out all their ones is phenomenal. Shadow King setting their either Bishop or Angela or Hit Monkey down to nothing is fundamentally an auto win, and because they're so aggressive, they're going to snap. Goose is also really, really good in this deck. Goose, you want to be careful to not put Goose in the same lane that they are playing Lockjaw for that matchup. So if you can manage to Goose a lane that they're not going to be lockjawing, right? They don't have any really compelling way to get into that lane except Thor, and Shadow King plus Goose is already bigger than Thor, even without any Surfer or Nova booms or anything else. Basically you win that lane. So Goose, turn 4 in that matchup against Lockjaw. Turn 4, I like to either play Goose and Invisible Woman in 2 different lanes, or I like to play Storm along with like Nova on turn 4, because you really, really, really don't want to Storm wherever they're going to Lockjaw. As long as you've stormed where they're not lockjawing, though, you basically win that lane. Your Storm Juggernaut is going to basically, unless they Magneto you out, so make sure you fill wherever you think they're going to Magneto, right? That's what Brood is for. But it's going to fundamentally almost always win you that lane, as they can't really compete with that. At that point, hopefully you're winning the Goose lane. You stick Goose, again, wherever they didn't have Lockjaw. That's now 2 lanes. They have 1 real lane where they can compete at that point. You just need to fill it up with some BS so that their Magneto can't get you. Make sense? Cool. I'm glad. This deck is so strong and so good. If you play this as a point slam, you're going to get killed. This is a control deck. Your job is to figure out what they want to do, where, and why. It is extremely strong. So I went down in my second Infinity ticket with this deck. I just got wrecked. I didn't realize what I was playing against and got wrecked by a Galactus. And I was down after like 2 games, 9-3. And I won. I just took cube after cube from them. Once I knew what I was playing and I stopped trying to point slam them, I waited and played Goose in the right place. I waited and used Storm to turn things off. I waited and pulled something with Polaris. I waited and Juggernauted something away. I knew they had Goblins, so I was careful when I brooded and didn't let that get me. All these different plays managed to fundamentally turn off the deck and win. This deck is just absolutely great. Den is great. Make sure you check out the podcast. Make sure you're checking out all his articles. He does all the tier lists for both Conquest and Ladder on Marvel Snap Zone, and he does so much more. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Appreciate all of you. Peace.